brother, the Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Marco Kwekumante, the Deputy Chief Executive of Ghana Cocoa Board, Nkrumah, our friends from the Ghana Tourism Authority, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. When I got the invitation to join you for the launch of the Cocoa Week celebration for the third year in a row, I was wondering whether it's a deliberate effort by the organizers to make me a permanent associate of this celebration, or was just serendipity. But while I congratulate you for coming this far, it is my joy to be with you this afternoon as we launch for the third time with me here, the National Cocoa Week celebration. It's worth emphasizing that the core purpose of the Chocolate Week celebration is to promote local consumption of chocolate and other cocoa-based products, among others. Let me use this opportunity to celebrate all the stakeholders in the cocoa value chain for their respective roles in working to build a robust cocoa economy. Let's give them a big round of applause for the work they've done over the years. The National Chocolate Day celebration was instituted, as was mentioned, in the year 2005 to coincide with Valentine's Day, 14th of February, every year, to boost the domestic consumption of Ghana chocolate and other cocoa-based products, among others. Now, what used to be a day celebration was later transformed into a week-long celebration in 2022 due to the numerous benefits that the country stands to gain if the cocoa industry is nationally promoted. The exploits of Ghana in the world cocoa industry cannot be underestimated, and I want to just give you a few highlights of these. For those of you who are familiar with this story, Ghana's cocoa cultivation has gone through various stages over the years. After its initial introduction, 1895, by Tete Kwashi from what we grew to know as Fernando Po, which I'm told today is called Bioko in Equatorial Guinea, it was first exported at the end of the 19th century from Ghana. Ghana later became a leading producer of cocoa and has since alternated that position with Ivory Coast. On the average, we are producing about 700 metric tons of cocoa per year since 2012. And it's estimated that the contribution of cocoa to Ghana's GDP will rise to about $4.1 billion by 2025. Cocoa is the third largest foreign exchange earner for the country after gold and crude oil. And revenues from the industry have been on the upward trajectory since 2019. Specifically in 2019, we earned about 2.2 billion, 2.3 billion in 2020, 2.8 billion in 2021, and we're hoping to grow some more. So you agree with me that the cocoa industry is playing a significant role in stabilizing the local currency, among many other things. Now, the cocoa industry is one of the leading industries that absorbs a significant number of Ghana's labor force. The farming alone is employing over 800,000 workers directly. Other related services such as extension services, retailing, seed providers, input providers, quality assurance, shipping, haulage and transport, among others, also employ large numbers. It's estimated that cocoa production covers an arable land area of over 1.2 million hectares spread across 64 cocoa districts in our country. Now, due to the importance of the commodity to the individual, various communities like where I come from, and the country at large, successive governments have taken a number of initiatives to help regulate and better manage the industry. In recent years, these have included initiatives such as the National Cocoa Rehabilitation Program, the Hand Pollination Program, the Pruning Exercises, Cocoa Disease and Pest Programs, among others. On growing domestic consumption, the country's per capita consumption of cocoa has seen a jump from just about half of a kilogram in 2017 to 1 kilogram as at now. Now, processing feet is currently hovering around 43% of the produced beans, following the continued support that government has been extending to processors, chocolatiers, as well as other ancillary service providers. Ladies and gentlemen, the indications are therefore clear that we have made progress in the industry from the very beginning. But we can do a lot more. While continuing with the efforts to boost domestic production of cocoa, we must take advantage of this year's celebration to step up the efforts to increase processing of cocoa locally. And here we'll nominate a few ideas which we believe Cocoa Board should take on violently, because you have a lot of people who support your cause and who will join hands with you as you advocate more for this. One of the ways to do this is to start by guaranteeing light crop for the local producers, so that they do not have to buy the main crop for domestic processing. Because as we know, the main crop is comparatively more expensive. And if we are really serious about boosting local production, then we must move quickly to ensure that the local processors are able to fully meet their bean needs from the light crop and don't have to compete with those who are buying the main crop. And there are a lot of people who will support you if you go that way, both in and out of government. We must secondly use policy instruments to ensure that financing support is also provided to the domestic processors. It doesn't necessarily mean government should give money, but the financial sector should be incentivized to provide financing for the domestic processors, using the cocoa beans themselves as security and escrowing into the account of off-takers. The challenge of financing domestic processors will be lightened via this channel if we take it more seriously. Number 3, there are a lot of incentives that already exist from the Ghana Free Zones Authority, and they endear a lot of people if we will make a lot more noise about it. They aren't well known. So Ray and team and our friends from the Ghana Free Zones Authority, these incentives should be better highlighted so that we can attract more processors to set up in the enclave and then process. That's when we can give true meaning to our desire to deepen the processing of cocoa locally. On the matter of stimulating domestic consumption of cocoa products, we need to promote more chocolatiers to join the value chain, because the more domestic chocolatiers and nuanced products that are on the local market, the better our chances of deepening the local taste and demand. The red carpet of incentives, as we will give any foreign investor, should be made available to the local chocolatiers as well. And that's the only way you're going to get a lot more people going in there. Specifically, for example, this about 35% tax on cocoa butter and cocoa liquor, which is the raw material for the chocolatiers, must be reconsidered, because it will make it less expensive to finance their operations, and it will also make the final products more affordable onto the market. And it's something you will get a lot of support for if you push aggressively in that area. Finally, we should support initiatives across Africa to stimulate consumption, starting with our school children. The sectors of our economy that are making super profits can be encouraged to finance such initiatives, which will serve as an investment for the growth of a future market in Africa for cocoa products. Chairman, my hope is that some of these initiatives, when implemented, will be instrumental in giving true impetus to the rhetoric of boosting the cocoa industry in Ghana, which we've been up to for a while now. While we encourage the participation of all collaborating agencies and the general public in this week-long activity, we want to encourage that we take advantage of this celebration to make the next major jump in the cocoa industry by significantly boosting domestic processing and domestic consumption. And on this note, I declare the 2023 National Chocolate Week celebration duly launched. The theme remains eat chocolate, stay healthy, and grow Ghana. I thank you for your attention.